All right. I think we are back. My apologies. I actually accidentally, I think, took the webinar down here. But if you can hear me, just let me know on the chat. I just want to make sure if you're able to hear me. Yep. Awesome. All right, Mr. Bob, thank you for that. Appreciate it for everyone's patience. We probably lost maybe a few, but we're going to get and jump right into it. All right. Well, I want to congratulate you for making the space, ladies and gentlemen, for, to appear at this webinar where we're going to be covering the real estate buying secrets. And this is precisely secrets that I'm going to go ahead and deliver and share with you that you can implement right away. After we finish this live event, you're going to be able to implement it right away. And keep in mind, the world and success belongs to the people that have a purpose, and that purpose is actually, acted upon massive action. Okay. So it's very important to understand that, because truly nothing happens until you do something about it. Nothing really is going to change in your life until you're willing to change in your life. Okay. So, I'm really excited. I started real estate about, almost 18 plus years ago. And just like anybody else, I don't come from a wealthy family. Maybe you do. I don't. English is my second language because I was raised in Mexico for a good portion of my life, even though I was born here in the U.S. in San Francisco. And I give you a little bit of my background every time that I start, because I don't know who's watching this, these videos. I know that they're out there. Maybe you're new to the channel. Maybe you're, this is your very first time. And I just want you to know that if a farm boy from a farm town is able to get into real estate and reach freedom, then anybody can. There's nobody here watching this webinar that can tell me that you cannot make it happen. So you're not going to convince me. I'm certain about it. It has to do with mindset. It has to do with purpose. It has to do with hunger. It has to do with the action that you take. So if you actually model those things from the ultra very successful people, trust me, you're going to be able to have great results in your life as well, right? So, just like most of us that basically start from scratch. I read an article that said that more than 80% of people actually become, they become millionaires. They didn't inherit the millions. I'm one of those part of 80+%. I didn't had it. I didn't had a silver platter. I didn't, I had a rich father, a rich, parents that gave us everything in life. But I'm very grateful that I had the parents that I had that allowed us to just really explore life, to make mistakes, we come back and come back stronger. So I'm sharing this because I want you to understand, where I come from, because otherwise a lot of people make the mistake thinking, well, maybe Raul won the lottery, or maybe he comes from very, rich family, or he got everything and everything was given to him and that's why he's got it. And the reality is not, that's far from the truth. The reality is that we started from ground zero, and we've grown it. We've lost it. We've grown it again. And that's my story. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just get into it, dive right away, because I know that time is crucial and critical for every single one that is watching here today. And I want to be obviously respectful of your time. So there is 7 secrets, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, there are 7 secrets that I personally use in my real estate buying career. If you pay close attention, it's gonna make a big difference. Now, I'm talking about 7 secrets into the residential side. It's more in the residential, the commercial and multifamily. Some of them they get shared, but not necessarily every single one of them. Although they're important, regardless. But this is more into the actual, redevelopment side of the real estate section. Okay, so we're going to start with secret number 1. All right, secret number 1 that you need to make sure that you understand and master. It's you need to have the exit before you buy. So you need to have the exit before you need to know your exit before you buy. So whenever I buy, and this is true, this is one of the true, and I'll probably share it. This is true almost on anything. especially, residential, commercial, doesn't matter. This one happens to be shareable. Why is it important to know your exit before you buy? Oftentimes I've discovered, and I've discovered through my own experience, that when you only have one exit strategy, when you're at the time of selling, you are prone to only go one direction, and more than likely, if anything changes on the market, you are going to lose. I've experienced it. I know so. So therefore, my secret number one is know your exit before you buy. Usually, I like to have, at least 2 or more, preferably 3 exits. 2 or more, preferably 3. I'll give you an example. If it's a single family residence, or it doesn't matter, it could be multifamily, is knowing how are you going to exit out of that purchase that you're about to do. Could it be through renovation and then resell? That's one. Could it be that you're going to put it under contract and then wholesale it? That could be. It could be that you first start looking for a wholesale. That's one way of exiting. Second way of exiting, it's you'll probably close on it, and then you'll do a hotel. You won't fix it, and then you will just sell it the same way you bought it, but you took title to it. That means you close it under your company's name. Then that's a second way of exiting. The third one is you will renovate it, buy it, take title, renovate, and resell. That's almost very similar, one and the same. Not exactly the same, but they are what I call symbiotic, meaning they share certain things in common. I still consider it, it's still maybe not 3, but maybe 2, because, in reality, if anything changes with the market, and the only way is to remodel and resell, because the other ways don't make sense. So, for instance, if it's a single family home, could you rent it and the rent make up for, the mortgage payment, as well as as well as leaving you a little bit of profit, or covering 100% all of the expenses, from closing costs, holding costs, to the multiple loans that you got, if you actually got multiple loans. So that's important to understand. That's another way of doing an exit. So in reality, to me, I prefer to have 3. One could be I will go ahead and remodel and then resell. Second could be I can, cash flow it by renting it. And then a third one could be basically, could I, if it's a multifamily one, could I just fractionalize, do what is called a fractionalized sale, meaning just selling a fraction or a portion of the building. That could be another way. When you have more than one exit strategy, when you buy, when you know that exit strategy and you have multiple, 2 or 3, typically, if anything happens with the market, you have more opportunities to literally be able to exit and not do, and still do really well. All right. Depending on if you really truly know your exit before you buy. I always love to know my exit before I buy. And I can give you a good example. There is a 4-unit building in San Francisco that we purchased that basically the way it is, the first exit strategy on that 4-unit building is, number one, I'm buying it as a 4-unit structure, and then I'm actually doing, I'm looking to sell it as individual units, almost as if it was condominiums, but there's a terminology called tenancy in common, meaning TIC, meaning that you are allowed to sell it by unit basis. Obviously, you got to get professionals involved, et cetera, but that's just one exit strategy. Before I bought this property, before I got into it, I knew that was one of the ways that I could exit from this purchase. The second way, if the market changed on me and it would come down instead of sustaining, the second way is I checked if the rent with the renovations that I was going to do and the repositioning that I was going to do to this property, what are the rents per unit? And I noticed that the rents are anywhere from $4,000 to $4,500 per unit. Then what I did, I said, okay, so if the market changes, but the rents are still there, they sustain, could I rent it? Could I rent every single one, refinance it, and pull all the money out that I put in and still cash flow it? And the answer was yes. So now I got two exit strategies there. And then could I combine the two together? Could I sell maybe 2 units and maybe I got caught in between the changes and then just keep 2 units for rental and refinance those? Will the numbers still make sense? Obviously it did. So that could be more of a in between, right? What I'm saying is I had 2.5 exit strategies. So in this particular case, I felt really good about it. I said, you know what? I understand basically what is my exit and understanding as well who is my buyer, okay? Who is my buyer? So, secret number 1 is know your exit before you buy. The biggest mistake that I've seen people that are new into real estate investing is getting all excited because it's their very first deal, but not knowing how they're going to exit. And if the only exit is, remodel and resell, that means that you may be working with very, very tight numbers. And if you happen to be working with very tight numbers, guess what's going to happen? There's no room for error. There's no room for wholesaling. There's no room for hoteling. There's no room for anything. And that tends to be, only one directional, and one directional more than likely has a higher opportunity to even lose on them. Okay. Secret number 2, know your market intimately. Know your market intimately, okay? And it's so important, ladies and gentlemen, knowing your market, benefits of knowing your market very intimately. And I'm going to share exactly what I do to do that. Benefits are you can immediately know what the ARV or after repair value is for, the typical property, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, in the Mission District, or, it could be, the 3-bedroom, 2-bath on the Pacific Heights. And I'm speaking about San Francisco in general, or the Inner Sunset area, or things of that nature. Know your market intimately so that it allows you to make faster, buying decisions, so that you could immediately be able to compare and understand what the market is doing in those areas. There are areas that are extremely highly desirable. And every city has its high desirable areas. They have their low end, less desirable areas, and understanding, which streets are, which boundaries and streets are more desirable, less desirable, more busy, less busy, which schools belong to that district is very important. Why? Because if you're very intimate to that specific market that you want to be a master at, guess what happens? If an outsider comes in trying to invest in that market and doesn't know, while they're probably doing all their homework and due diligence, you can make quick decisions on saying, let's submit an offer. Let's do it. Let's do it right away. I'll give you an example. All right. I got a good friend of mine, Mr. Josue, call me he calls me, I think it was last weekend, and it was on Friday. It was on Friday morning. I was driving towards Southern California, and he was interested because he says, Raul, I got a deal. He says, I sent you a deal last night. Can you take a look at it? Happens to be that it's on the outer Sunset District, which I know because I've done, deals there. And immediately when he called me up, he says, I got a deal, but I want your opinion since you know more of that area. So, I got in less than 10 minutes. I call him back and I said, submit an offer. He says, well, I think it's better if we just see it. I said, Josue, submit an offer. Go ahead and submit an offer. If we wait until Sunday, and this is Friday, okay? He says, if we wait until Sunday, that thing is going to be gone. Trust me, price is great. Everything's great. But I was able to make a decision within 10 minutes or less. The reason being is because, number one, I know the market intimately, very acquainted with what's happening and going there because of multiple deals and several deals that has happened. And he did, we did, submitted an offer right away, got it in. Obviously, we found out that, it was being pitched they came back and saying it was an off-market deal. But then when my partner went and out there on Sunday, we found out that, you know, everybody knew about it. And sincerely, that it's something that, you know, it's not appreciated, at least on my end, because we were made to believe that we were the only ones, right? Now, the reason why I'm sharing is going back to the intimate, knowing your market in a very intimate way. I know the schools, I know the district, I know what homes are going in that area specifically. You know, just by knowing the square footage, the bedrooms and bathrooms, I was able to say, you know, the deal sounds really, really good. Let me just verify it with, you know, a few things. In less than 10 minutes, we were submitting an offer on a property that is worth 1.650, you know, submitting it for $1.05 million. Now, and understanding what we were going to do with it because of the style of the house and things of that nature. So getting to know that market in an intimate way, it's going to give you benefits that it's going to put it pretty much anybody else who's trying to kind of find a way to submit an offer, you're going to be able to bid to the chase. But that's one secret that I've used to, you know, to my advantage, as well as this is just one example, but there's many examples. You know, how do I do to get to know that market intimately before I invest on a market? All right. And this is exactly, and by the way, I forgot to mention my disclosure or my phrase that I gotta share. I'm not telling you exactly what to do. You know, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. Basically, you need to be an adult and basically learn anything that you're learning from here, from this webinars is for educational purposes only. It's up to you how you want to implement it. Just wanted for you to know so that you understand that, you know, I'm going to share what is working for us and what we, you know, what allowed my company to do over $20 million in sales basically in 2018, precisely what I'm sharing right now. So anyways, so going back into how to get to know a market intimately, very simply, one of the things that I do is I get a map either through Google Maps or buy a map, you know, technology, and, you know, you can go digital now these days. And I start looking at properties in that market that I want to basically master. And one of the things that I do is I look at so many active properties. I do it as if I act with the full intention as if I'm going to literally buy those properties. Like if there's an active property, I will, you know, I will do the comparables. I will drive the comparables. I will literally look at the pictures. I will physically drive it and have a good feel for it. And I will do that for around about 90 days. And I will go to the schools. I will call, obviously, school districts. I will, you know, I will do a massive research to understand the area at a very intimate level from, you know, from the schooling aspect, from the street, how busy, which ones are the less busy, where are the best, you know, retail space or retail stores, and basically, you know, what is that environment in that section, and always calling from agents, you know, that are extremely active in that area. So one of the things that I do is, you know, if you have access to the MLS, and if you don't, you can always partner up with somebody who does, or you can ask a friend that gives you, hey, can you give me a list of all the realtors that are, you know, the big shot realtors in that section, in that area, who sells the most. And then I will call them and ask them, hey, why do you specialize in this area? What is it that you see here that you don't see it elsewhere? And I start basically become knowledgeable about that. But it takes me about a span of 90 days. I remember when I was looking to invest in San Francisco and that I was going to go really heavy. Before I did, I think I researched it for about 4 or 5 months that I would drive. Now picture this. From Modesto, driving to San Francisco about 4 to 5 times every single week, looking at properties, driving comparables, you know, going to different districts, calling school districts, you know, reaching out to agents. Basically, just picture that, you know, and didn't purchase a property in San Francisco literally until I did a lot of driving and understanding which markets were harder, were the hottest, versus others, and why will this be more desirable. Understanding a lot of things, the financial district, where the buses, the transportation, I mean, you name it. What I'm saying here is this: when you take the time to know the market that you're going to master, you're going to have a very high competitive advantage over anybody else, okay? So I'm going to jump into secret number 3. Know your medium home prices. I think that everybody knows how to do that. If you don't, go to Google. I can share my screen right now. You could say, medium house price in San Francisco, medium house price in San Mateo, whatever that is. Why is it important? If you're new as a real estate investor, one of my personal things that I did when I was new is I stayed below the median home price and below. Why? Because that's where majority of your buyers are. That's a secret right there. Majority, do you want to be appealing to majority of you want to have more buyers or less buyers? A 3-bedroom, 2-bath is the typical home. Well, guess what? If the medium house, for instance, in San Francisco is $1.2 million, $1.3 million as an example, then you want to do homes less than $1.3 million and below, meaning you may want to buy for, 800, 900, and then by the time you go to market, it'll probably be at 1.2, 1.3, whatever that is. Especially if you're starting. Why? It'll sell faster. There's more buyers, is the typical home that you will find. There's more, there's more buyers just for it, right? Then if you go into a $5 million, $6 million home, for example, yesterday I got a text from someone that it was a realtor who sent me basically a deal. Says, Raul, it's in San Francisco, purchase price I think is 2.4, 2.5. You got to put $1 million and you'll be able to sell it for like almost $6 million. I said, I'm not interested because it's literally obviously outside. The buyers for that specific property is going to be a very, very specific buyer. Not interested because usually takes very long time to be able to sell that, that property, all right? Even though that there's comps, you don't know, in my case, I don't know what's ahead. It's not my thing, but, and therefore I know how to identify right away and make decisions, rather quick. It's very easy to get the median home price. Go to Google, your friend Google it for your area, for your neighborhood, and just, basically extract it, stay within that line, and just understand that if you want to go above it, nothing wrong with it. Just understand that you want to have a bigger spread because it's going to take longer. It's going to be a different buyer and things like that. All right. Secret number 4. Okay. Reach out to your competition and buy from them. Reach out to your competition and buy from them. That's a hell of a secret, all right? That's a ninja tip secret right there. Who is your competition? Every time you see a bandit sign, guess what? Get their phone number. Call them on the spot. Tell them, hey, my name is Raul Luna. I'm a local real estate investor. I saw your sign on the post and wanted to connect with you so that you can add me into your buyers list. I am an all-cash buyer, close quick, close in 7 days with hassle-free process. I just want you to keep me in mind, sir. And then, hey, can we get to know each other? How long have you been doing real estate? So nothing more than just connecting with your competition, reaching out to them so that you can buy properties from them, all right? I bought several like that. I just because I reached out to your competition shouldn't be your competition. It should be your allies, depending on how is it that you're seeing it. With which lenses are you seeing your competition? To me, the competition, it's one of my best places where I get deals. So, reach out to them. Secret number 5, ladies and gentlemen, become an offer machine. Become an offer machine. I forgot his name, and one day hopefully I will find him. It was a real estate broker out of Colorado. It was about 3 years ago that I attended to this marketing intensive event. It was a 3-day event in San Jose, California. prior to that, we were making about 5, 7 deals a year, and we were staying busy, but nothing major, nothing at a super extreme high level. I wasn't 10xing. I was more of being in the comfort zone. And I remember that all the 3 days, the one thing that I learned from this gentleman, the only thing that I learned on all those 3 days, he says, when you come out of here, when you come out of this 3 days, is not the end, it's the beginning. Is the moment that you must become an offer machine. And for 3 straight days, he repeated the same freaking thing. So what I learned about that is that becoming an offer machine was the most important thing when you're first starting your business. Because oftentimes we think that the first offer that we make, has a high probability to get accepted. It could, if you offer more or if you offer extremely close to what they wanted it. If every single offer is being accepted, my friend, there is definitely a problem. There is definitely a serious problem, and the problem is that you're overpaying for stuff and you're going to get yourself into trouble. I remember at that event, there was one person that raised the hand, and he says, well, if we become an offer machine, I got fear, and the fear of this person was because what happens if the offers get accepted? If more offers get accepted than what we can handle? And I remember the broker said, if every single one of them is being accepted, apparently you got a very serious problem. And the problem is you're way overpaying for things, and obviously you're going to have to change that. He says the reason why you want to become an offer machine is sincerely because 98, 99% are not going to get accepted. And because they're not going to get accepted, guess what? You maybe out of 100, you'll probably get 1 accepted. And ladies and gentlemen, that one thing today I implemented every single day in my business with my team. And I can tell you straight out that that's what has allowed to basically buy anywhere in between from, consistently 5 deals, 5 deals, 7 deals every single month. You got to be making offers. You got to be, obviously, even if it's an offer that they don't want to hear, because keep in mind, a lot of the deals that you're going to get are going to be on the follow-up. And a lot of especially in this market, there's still, there's still a sentiment from the seller side that the market is still strong, and maybe it is, but people may not believe that that there could be a downturn, and nobody knows, or at least that's what everybody says. But at the end of the day is that, the sentiment is still strong. Sellers are still wanting a ton of money for their properties, even if stress. But what I'm saying is this: become an offer machine. Become an offer machine. When I walk out of that event, I started doing about 10 offers every single night. I was making about 10 offers, 70 offers, maybe a week. And I remember that after doing that for 2 weeks, I landed into 1 deal. And that 1 deal fired everything up. Now, keep in mind, I was doing offers on market properties. And as a real estate investor, you don't have the luxury to overpay for things, if you really want to make a living off of this. Now, in my case, I was looking through every single, online channel that I could put my hands into. I would, obviously call from bandit signs, put some ads, but I was making offers, make offers. Even when the seller says, oh, I won't take anything lower than this, trust me, the best deals that I've ever gotten, they shared it that they were not going to go anything lower than that. And guess what? Things change for people, because things change for people. That may be true at the time that he's saying it, but what happens, 2, 3 months later on, 4 months later on? I can give you a story on a shopping center that we bought. Took us 9 months. and I connected with a gentleman almost every other month until he came back and says, Raul, I gotta sell. I must sell. I will give it to you at almost at the price that you wanted under one condition. You got to close before the year ends. And guess what? I gave him my promise. I said I will. And, he had to sell because of a situation on his taxes that he was trying to obviously take a benefit of. So regardless of anything, just keep in mind that people's situation changes. And if you're not in front of their face, then guess what? They're not going to remember you. They're not going to come to you, right? Secret number 6, actually, secret number 6, build your buyer's list. Build your buyer's list. Don't wait until you have a property or a great property in order to offer, or in order to start, getting buyers. The way I did it is I started it, making a buyer's list because I knew. Notice that I didn't say I hoped. Notice that I didn't say, I might. Notice that I didn't say maybe. I said I knew I was going to get an abundant amount of deals because my mindset was shifted to getting an abundant amount of deals, and I was putting the effort, the action to make it happen along with the team. Guess what? The great thing is when you have a investor buyer list and you get a deal that makes sense to wholesale, or you have 2 or 3 properties that got a contract accepted, guess what? You may want to wholesale or hotel some of them, but if you already have an investor buyer list, it's so much simpler to really, it's almost like, sincerely, it's like printing money because, you could go directly and just basically, blast it to them. And as long as the numbers make sense and as long as you have the, enough spread, guess what? Usually I've noticed that if you buy it at a 70% of the ARV minus the repairs, you could sell it anywhere from 80 to 85% minus repairs. So you will make a spread anywhere from 5 to 10%, maybe 15. Very rare 20. Very extremely rare, unless there's some value add or adding square footage or things of that nature. So build your buyer's list. Have it ready. Biggest mistake is you're coming up with quality properties that you may not be ready to close them or handle them right away and not having anyone to go to. And it doesn't take much, ladies and gentlemen. All you got to do is just, go up to someone that it's a true buyer like us. We're buying consistently. We're always on the market. You bring us a deal and I can tell you straight out that I can give you an answer right away. So if you got a deal, you could always bring it to me. It may be an intimidating deal that is too large for you. It may well be that it requires more than what you are accustomed. Bring it on. Bring it on. Nothing scare us. We will rapidly say, basically yes or no. And then at the same time, the beauty of it is we got the funds, we got the resources to make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. So it's very important, right before this webinar, I got a memorandum for 700 plus unit building, that right after I finish this, that I'm going to take a look at. And it excites me because, 700, all right, 700 units, it just gets us closer to the goal, gets us closer to making it happen. But once again, knowing your market, knowing, having a buyer's list, knowing your exit strategy, all of those are secrets that you want to make sure that you understand, all right? And then secret number 7, your money's made when you sell. Have you ever heard the saying that, you make your money when you buy? Have you ever heard that saying? And let me tell you, that's full of bullcrap. You don't make your money when you buy, okay? You make your money when you sell. If you never sell, then you don't make your money. You make your money when you sell. You may make the potential profit. Listen to what I said, potential profit when you buy, but you truly make your money when you sell or when you refinance. The thing is not when you buy. when you buy, you got to buy right. Potentially, you got to profit. But when you sell, if the asset is not producing any cash flow, then your money is being truly made when you sell. All right. So I just wanted to let you know the secret number 7 is you make your money when you sell or when you refinance. If it's a cash flowing asset, that's a whole different story. There's many other variables. But the whole thing that I'm saying is basically stop thinking that you're going to make your money when you buy. I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, we had a property in San Francisco that we bought, and we thought we were going to make about $250,000 in profit. I was certain about it because we bought it with a good spread. We basically did the right finishes, the right renovation, put it on the market, put it at an extremely low price to make people basically lift it up in price. And we didn't end up making 250. We only made up, I think we made about $125,000 or something like that. So 50% of what we thought we were going to make, because the market shifted. The market changed on us. We sold it in winter time. So the money never got made when I bought it, because when I bought it, I thought I was going to make 250. It was loud and clear. Comparables showed it every single time. And guess what? When we sold it, we made 120. We still made money, but we didn't realize those profits until the property was sold. Right? So that's important. And then I've seen it the other way. I've seen it where I think I'm going to sell it for a very low price, and then it ends up selling for even a higher price. You know what? You know why that may happen? Obviously, the market changes, but then a lot of season changes, market changes, buyers and seller sentiment, but also has to do with, interest rates. There's a lot of variables. Knowing and understanding, it's going to give you the edge to real estate investing. Knowing, understanding, and applying those items is going to give you the edge to real estate investing, okay? So anyhow, 7 secrets to buying real estate successfully. I'm just going to pretty much summarize them. Know your exit before you buy. Know your market intimately. Know your median home price. Reach out to your competition and buy from them. Become an offer machine. Build your buyer's list. And, your money is truly made when you sell. Don't believe the crap that is made when you buy. Yeah, your profit potential, it's made when you buy, but it's still a potential. There's not a guarantee. If you have a very thin spread, definitely is less than a guarantee, right? Even if you got a big one. But anyhow, I got a question here says, where will you buy? Only in the Bay Area? No, I love to invest in 8 different counties. It goes from San Francisco to San Jose, which is the San Francisco County, Alameda County, Santa Clara County, and I think it's San Mateo County. Those are the 4 counties in the Bay Area. And then Central Valley is 4 counties as well. I do, Merced County, Fresno County. I do Stanislaus and San Joaquin. Now, doesn't mean I don't buy outside of that. I buy out of state. I buy outside, but I only buy when it's outside of my market area. Number one, I will buy because there's somebody that has boots on the ground. Number 2, I understand the secrets that I just told you about that specific market. And if it's for cash flow play, it's got to be 100 units and above. 100 units and above. Doesn't mean that we won't look at anything less. I will give priority to 100 units and above because, the economy of scale. To give you an example, I just bought my very first property in Reno, Nevada. We just have it under contract with one of my very close friends. It's not me who put it under contract. I helped this gentleman, Alberto, to put it under contract. He's boots on the ground. I understand that market because I used to travel a lot there for business. I feel very, very great. It's extremely hot market. So, I'm okay investing there, and just to give you an example, but that's because I understand the 7 secrets that I just shared with you. I understand that because I understand it because Mr. Alberto is there. He's boots on the ground. I feel good about it. So hopefully, Mr. Vidales, that helps you basically understand how I come across. So ladies and gentlemen, congratulations for being here today in Real Estate Buying Secrets. You know, it's very, to me, to me, knowing that you are investing your time to get educated, to start learning, I really truly encourage you to don't just be a learner, but also become a person that it's a doer, because a learner and a doer is going to be the perfect combination for an ultra level of success. And I'm pretty sure that if you're here and you're invested this time, that's what you want to do. So we'll get to see you in the next webinar every Wednesday at 12 noon. Congratulations, your friend Raul Luna from Modesto, California. I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to hear the stories. I want you to share stories. Whenever you learn something that you heard here or anything, you know, shoot me a Facebook message, shoot me an email. I mean, let me know what's happening in your world. Trust me, I love to see people succeed when they have purpose in their life and they inspire others. I get to learn from you. Don't forget that as well. Thank you very much. Have a phenomenal rest of your Wednesday.